Hi, it's me, the Zen Witch, coming to you with another unboxing video. And this is the first in a kind of a side series of unboxing videos where I will be unboxing classic tarot and oracle decks. This is from my collection of nearly 150 decks at this point, and they all deserve some attention. So what I'm going to be talking to you about today is the Hanson-Roberts tarot deck. So let's get set up real quick. There we go. This is a deck that I have been reading with since 1990. And I will also tell you this video might be a little long, but I'm going to give you a lot of tips in this video about reading, since this is the deck I actually learned to read with. Here we have the one that I've been reading with for, what, 30 years? It's very beat up. It's been through a lot, and it's an amazing deck. And this was the first deck that was given to me as a gift. So that's one of the things that I'll talk about in a little bit. Setting that one aside, this is the Hanson-Roberts as you get it in its box. Typical deck of the day. I have to look and see when this deck was released, but nice little cardboard box. And as you can see, my persnicketyness I have taped all around. I tape my boxes when I get them now because they just fall apart. So on the side, Mary Hanson-Roberts interprets Rider-Waite with classic fairy tale images. The 78 vivid cards have card titles in 5 languages: English, French, German, Italian, and Spanish. How did I never notice that? Okay. Hanson-Roberts Tarot, illustrated by Mary Hanson-Roberts. U.S. Game Systems, one of the best sources of, many decks. Printed in Italy. I never saw that before either. And the item number is HR78, just in case you're wondering. The ISBN number, all that stuff on the bottom. So this deck is based on the kind of standard, which is the Rider-Waite, which everybody in the whole wide world owned at one point or another. As they come out of the box looking so nice and new. Wow, it just kind of underscores what mine has been through. Beautiful card backs, kind of an interwoven Celtic-ish knot and some nice sort of Art Deco swoops and swirls. The LWB, which is the little white book that comes with most decks that are packaged in this manner. So, looking through Hanson-Roberts Tarot deck by Mary Hanson-Roberts, it's good to have a card like this with any deck that you get for blocking the deck. Blocking the deck is when you go to put it away, it's kind of sealing it and locking it up. So this is a card that I will use for blocking the deck. Here is what they call the blank card in this deck, although it's not blank. As you see, it says "To All Believers." This card has a lot of information in it. When it shows up in a reading, what it says to me is they're in the middle of a test of faith, that there is no answer immediately available. And when there's no answer and you're pitched into uncertainty, you get faced with what your belief system is. What do you actually believe? So the blank card says "To All Believers" and asks, what is your foundation? What is your faith? What is your belief system? So this is the other card that I use to block the deck. So blocking the deck is one will go at the back, the other will go at the front, face 2. That just kind of covers the deck and seals it up and keeps its energies contained. All right, so we've got that, we've got the blank card, and now we'll just go through classic tarot imagery. And so I'm not going to deal with each one of these. I'm just going to show you. And what I loved about these, I was using the Rider-Waite, which I basically had stolen from my brother-in-law. He didn't want it. Somebody gave it to him, but I just kind of, so I don't know about the whole stolen deck thing versus gift deck versus bought. But anyway, the Rider-Waite has images that are very flat and cartoonish. Flat colors, no shading, heavy line drawings. The imagery is there, but they're very flat looking. The faces tend to be expressionless. And what really lit me up about this deck is the softness and the emotion that you can see. You know, I can see this dude's face and that he's looking like excited and hopeful to be beginning a journey. And so there's a humanness about them and a softness that I really, really like. When I got this deck, as I said, it was given to me as a gift, and I remember thinking, I already have a deck. Why do I need another one? Little did I know. Anyway, I started reading with it, and I was using the Celtic Cross that I'd been using with the Rider-Waite, and they didn't work. They did not work at all, and I thought, you know, oh well, extra deck, toss it aside. But I kept going back to it because the person that gave it to me, I had a mad crush on. And looking at the little white book, I noticed there was a different version of the Celtic Cross in here. It was laid out in a slightly different order, and the names of the categories were different. So I thought, I'll try that one. Tried it, bang, it just hit in a mighty, mighty way. And so I started doing readings with it, and I just carried them with me, and anybody that seemed like they were ripe, I would offer a reading to. And went to a friend's house one night, and a friend of his stopped by, and she was sitting there, and I said, hey, I'm learning to read cards. How about one? You know, how about a reading? Laid them out, and I'm just looking down the whole time and reading from the book and everything. And when I looked up and I finished the reading and looked up, she was sitting there like this. And I said, what's the matter? And she's like, oh my God, that was so accurate. So that's when I became a reader. Anyway, okay, there we go. Fool, Magician, High Priestess. They're beautiful, soft. They're very gentle looking cards. But again, I can see expressions on the faces. I see, you know, the guy here looks a little sad and the woman looks comforting, and which could be kind of a warning. But Chariot, the Strength card, I notice her as she looks so meditative that she's taming the lion, not with a whip and a chair, but by being so calm herself. She's connected with infinity, and she has gotten herself so calm that the lion has no choice but to fall in line. So it's taming things with love. It's the Strength of Endurance. Hermit. These are so clean looking. It's amazing. So another story, you know, I got this gift deck, and it hit and started working so very well. And obviously I'm still reading with it 30 years later. And then I got this new copy because I thought the other one is so beat up, and I'll just get a new copy and, you know, have nice fresh pictures and everything. Well, guess what? It doesn't work the same. We'll find out today because I'll do the reading. So the Star, so gentle, the Moon. So I'm giving a lot of tips today with this deck, particularly because I'm not going to comment on every single card. There's 78 of them. Standard Tarot format, Major Arcana, Minor Arcana. Again, for you beginners, Major Arcana are the named cards from the Fool through the world. These indicate big life lessons, big changes, big stages that you're going through in a reading. And then we have, oh, I thought I had these back in order again. I don't. Oh, well. The minors talk about the day-to-day details of life. So we've got Pentacles. Again, I apologize. I thought for sure I'd put them back in order since the majors were, but that's okay. So when you open a deck like this, you're going to go through each suit at a time. Usually you've got rods and then, you know, cups and whatever order they're in. They always put Pentacles last. I don't know why, but there's an Ace. So the whole gift deck thing, my theory on that, cards work based on the synchronicity principle. It's an intuitive discipline. It's not like astrology where you have to learn many, many things. You've got a foundation of knowledge that absolutely must be there before you can read an astrological chart. With cards, it's totally intuitive. You can grab a deck and not even have the book and lay cards out and do a reading with them just based on the images and your intuitive response to them. So your counting on the synchronicity principle. You are counting on stepping into a random process, and you're trusting it to give you meaning, to be able to extract meaning from that process. And Ace of Cups, look at that. Look how joyful. Look how beautiful and fresh that looks. And so when you buy your own deck, your ego is what's operating. You're operating from likes and dislikes. Ooh, this is pretty. Ooh, I don't like that. Ooh, they're too big. You know, so your ego is firmly in place. And when someone else buys a deck for you, that's not there. And they could be, they see something in you maybe that you don't see in yourself. And so they'll see a deck and go, that reminds me of them. And so that you're already hooking into kind of a, not really random, but a less ego-bound process. And I know that one other gift deck that was given to me, which was Froude's Fairies, and I'd never seen the deck before, and I'm like, oh my God, I never even would have picked this, but that deck is absolutely alive. And so you're already inviting in a synchronicity principle when somebody gives you a deck as a gift. And to me, it really does make a difference. It really does make a difference. I've also found the same thing works, though, when I've purchased used decks. There's a couple awesome sites. A site called A Libris that is so dangerous. And I have purchased decks from there. And I figure it's kind of, you know, when I bought my first used deck and it worked like a gift deck, I thought, what's going on here? And it's like, well, this person just happened to give up this deck and I just happened to be the one to purchase it. So, you know, I think that kind of works in my brain. however it works. Because the one thing is I am absolutely allergic to superstition and dogma. You will hear me say this time and again. So this isn't a superstition of I'm never going to buy my own deck. I have nearly 150 of them, for God's sake. So it's not going to stop me. I don't look at it as a rule or something that I'm afraid if I don't do this, something bad will happen. That's superstition. Superstition is placing control externally, and it's a very victim-headed thing in my mind, so I don't do that. Here's another beautiful ace. So yeah, gift decks are very special. I have also gotten gift decks that didn't work so well. So, you know, again, dogma. Dogma is this is the way it is and nobody ever questions it and all that kind of stuff. And I don't do dogma either. So we're going to take out, no, we leave the blank one in, but we're going to take out that deck. So these are already fairly shuffled. I just need the majors in here. So I'm going to do 3 shuffles. And here's another tip. Tell your deck what you're doing as far as shuffling and stuff like that. And wait, I need to wake these up. So here's something that I do when a deck's been kind of dormant for a while. I blow on them just so they wake up and breathe. So I'm telling my deck that I'm going to shuffle this way 3 times. And then I'm going to cut shuffle, and I'm going to take 3 cards. And my question is, what do I need to know right now? And what popped up as a frame in my head is just, what do I need to know about shooting these videos? So, okay, so there's my 3 shuffles. And I apologize for any, you know, thumpy sounds from the microphone. I'm still working out some issues there. So I'm going to cut shuffle through the deck 3 times, and then I'm going to take 3 off the top. All right? And that is always with an asterisk unless they come flying out of the deck. Anytime cards come flying out of the deck, they want to be seen. Pay attention to them. Okay, so here's my 3. Oh, hell yeah. So when the majors come out, it's major. It means big things. And the first card that comes out is the sun. So when I was framing, particularly doing these videos, the sun says happy, happy, joy, joy. It's a really good thing. This will work out well. The sun is a card of empowerment, of enjoyment, of happiness, of I'm it's awareness and consciousness, because you're talking about the light of day, nothing being hidden, okay? And you got a naked baby bouncing around a pony. What's happier than that? Okay, the one in the middle is Wheel of Fortune, which talks about things moving on. It's a card of change. Many, many cards of change, particularly in the major arcana, in Tarot in general. And the Wheel of Fortune is a card of organic change, natural change, seasonal change. So it says it's time for things to move forward. It's time for me to get my channel up and living again, and it's time for me to start doing these unboxing videos. So that's pretty freaking awesome. Those two things say it's time for this. Two of Pentacles talks about juggling resources and the emotional fallout that goes with that. So when I'm looking at a card, I'm looking at whatever images stand out for me. And of course, I have looked at the meanings in the book when I was learning the deck. I haven't looked at the book in decades, literally decades. So what I'm seeing is someone juggling. Pentacles are in the physical. They denote money. They're coins. So juggling money, juggling resources. But you see this rocky ocean behind and a boat rocking back and forth on it. Water is emotions. So we have to acknowledge while we're juggling resources that there's emotional rocking and rolling that goes on with that. So, okay, I am juggling resources at the moment. Not particularly in reference to doing these videos, but it is just an acknowledgement, and yes, it's on. So this deck certainly has the it factor. I haven't read for other people with it, and I actually let these decks sleep together when I first got this new one and it didn't quite work. I matched them together card for card and just let them rest together so this one could pick up some of the juju from this one. Did it work? Who knows? But it's working today. So I would have to say, to give this my rating, and my rating system is 5 Pentacles, and I rate on artwork, on writing, and on the it factor. So let's see here. Just for shits and giggles, let's look up. So in the book, your little white book, and just to see, so 1985 was the first printing of the Hanson-Roberts deck. So we're, at least 30 years old. And there's information about the artist, Mary Hanson-Roberts. And the meanings, now see, I'm going to look here. It says by Stuart Kaplan, so the readings are, the writing part is by Stuart Kaplan, who I believe did the original Rider-Waite writings. Okay, so it says, a dreaming sun shines down upon a naked child astride a horse. 4 sunflowers represent the 4 elements of earth, fire, water, and air. The sun's rays shine out and touch all the earth. From the sun's rays flows strong and positive solar energies which permeate all living beings and give rise to feelings of contentment and satisfaction. This card represents the fulfillment of love and friendship. Divinatory meanings: accomplishment, satisfaction, contentment, favorable relationships, love, joy, devotion, engagement, a happy marriage, pleasure in daily existence, warmth, a good friend, sincerity, pleasures derived from simple things, achievement in the arts, liberation. So you see the broad range of meanings there. And this is why you read the meanings in the beginning as you're getting to know the deck, as you're doing readings, read them straight out of the book. One of those many meanings will jump out at you. And over time, you will internalize the general gist of it, and then you will apply your own experience to it, and the deck becomes really a tool of your intuitive mind then. What you're doing with cards is you're programming your subconscious mind with a language, with a symbol set. Your subconscious mind already has its own symbol set that has gotten implanted through your culture, through your personal experience. For instance, tornadoes have always been a nightmare symbol for me when shit's about to bust loose because of it got installed by the Wizard of Oz when I was a really little kid and watched it when I had an earache, so I was traumatized, and tornadoes got installed as a symbol for me. So this is a symbol set that someone else has created, and you are going to teach your subconscious mind how to speak in these symbols to you, and you're going to attach your own experiences to those particular symbols, and then it really becomes your gift and your intuition. Okay. Of course, a regular tarot deck also has reverse meanings. So, I don't read reverses. I start with my cards completely upright. When I was still letting people shuffle my deck, some of them would turn the cards, and then I would just sort of know the upright meaning and say that's been stood on its head and interpret that myself. I don't let people shuffle my cards anymore. I don't need to take on that much of their energy. I just shuffle and go on their name vibration. So I don't read reverses, but the reverse meaning of this is unhappiness, loneliness, possibly a broken engagement or marriage, canceled plans, triumph delayed, although not necessarily completely lost, clouded future, lack of friendship. So you see how it's just the upright meanings stood on their head. So a reverse meaning can basically be either the thing that is happening in the upright one isn't happening, needs to be happening, okay, needs to be addressed, isn't being addressed. All right, Wheel of Fortune. Wheel of Fortune contains 8 visible spokes, each indicating a state of life, and 4 spokes are marked with alchemical sigils of mercury, sulfur, water, and salt. Ooh, see, I'm learning some stuff here. I need to read this book. The letters T-A-R-O are interspersed with the 4 Hebrew letters I-H-V-H, Yehovah, Yehoevohe. Evoe, I guess that would be. The serpent on the left descending the wheel is falling into misfortune, while the animal on the right appears to be rising out of previous difficulties. At the 4 corners of the card are 4 biblical creatures, each with a book. Divinatory meanings: destiny, fortune, fate, outcome, culmination, approaching the end of a problem, good or bad depending upon influences of nearby cards, inevitability, that's the word. Seasons change, whether you want them to or not, they change, so it's inevitable change. The entire sequence of the wheel suggests the course of things from beginning to end, advancement for better or worse. Reverse is failure, poor luck, broken sequence, unexpected bad fate, interruption or inconsistency due to unexpected events, outside influences not contemplated. And then we go to the 2 of Pentacles. Which says, a juggler balances 2 pentacles on the shore of a turbulent sea. Difficulty in launching new projects. Okay, there we have it. Difficult situations arising, new troubles, embarrassment, worry, concern. So difficulty in launching new projects. I shot my first unboxing video yesterday, which went really well, except that the sound sucked. Oh my God, there's a huge spider going down my wall. Hi, Grandma. Anyway, yeah, so difficulties in launching new ventures. I put up the video anyway because the content was good, and it's like, fuck it, I'm just going, All right, reverse meaning literary ability. What the hell? So, yeah. Agility in handling matters, simulated enjoyment, enforced gaiety, letter or message. Wow. See, those, I think those are holdovers from reading with playing cards. I betcha anything. And I betcha if I looked up Gypsy Witch and looked at the number 2 of diamonds, which is the corresponding to pentacles in a regular deck, I betcha that's what it would say. I might get back to you on that. And then there's the Celtic cross in the back. So I would also recommend, when you get a deck that has an LWB or whatever book comes with it, use a spread that is actually in that book. If you're already a reader and you already use the Celtic cross, you already use whatever layout, try the one that's in the book. Now, I did a 3 card. When I read, I do triples. I read in 3s. And a short reading for me will be 10 cards, 3, 3, 3, and then one at the end. I do a full reading called a Wheel of Fortune that has 9 categories of 3 and one at the end. And the triplets just really seem to tell a story for me. I can see, there will be cards that are looking at each other, or maybe like there's these two cards and one is headed this way or one is facing away from them. And everything about those images has information. So, this is your intuitive gift and trusting. Just look at what you notice. And even after 30 years of reading with this deck, I still have the experience of laying out a card and going, oh my gosh, I never noticed that before. Oh, this is standing out and I never noticed that before. So, you see how I have the deck blocked here? So yeah, there's always something new to be discovered in a deck. And sometimes when I used to do fairs, and I don't anymore, but when I used to do fairs and do many, many readings in a day, I would take a couple other decks with me, like the Robin Wood and the Cosmic. Just when this one started to get stale and I heard myself saying the same thing in the same way over and over, I would switch out to one of the decks that I don't use as much, just to freshen things up and engage my intuitive mind a little bit more, kind of bring in more of an element of surprise. So it really did help. So anyway, to go to the rating on this deck, it feels good in the hand. I like the size of this deck. It's about the size of a regular playing card deck, so it's easy to shuffle even though it's, a fatty like every tarot deck. I do shuffle them, riffle shuffle. I know some readers that will not do that. They talk about cards bumping their heads together, and I do understand that, and this is entirely up to you. You decide how the rules work for your readings, okay? So artwork, I would give this, I would say a 4 out of 5. For reading, it's beautiful. As far as just artwork straight up on its own, they're pleasant. They're pleasant. They're not ones that make me go, oh my God, the art. So I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 for artwork. I will give it, I'm going to give it a 5 out of 5 for writing. Obviously, there's still some stuff to be had there. And I think I am going to start working with this deck as if it's a new one and start looking up the meanings again, just to kind of freshen up my understanding. And I also may, since it's, since it's not my primary deck, go back in and start writing on the cards themselves, because there are meanings that sometimes elude me, and I'll be, doing a reading and all of a sudden it's like, I get a new understanding that's not in the book and I need to write things down. For instance, the Devil card being obsession and compulsion and things like that. Just, words that I tend to forget that pop in and I go, ooh, that's a good one. I may start writing on these cards, talking about making a deck your own. Wow. So there you have it. I'm going to be doing lots more unboxing videos. Please like and subscribe down below. Let me know what you thought about it. Let me know what you'd like to hear about. If there are particular decks that you would like me to unbox, let me know, because I am always keen to buy myself a new deck. So as always, thank you for being with me. This is the Zen Witch, and I'll see you next time. Blessed be.